Hello again, and welcome to the latest bulletin from Haverhill UK News, brought to you by Haverhill TV. In the news for today, Tuesday, July the 9th, the board of ONE Haverhill is seeking a new chairman as Cllr Anne Gower steps down after 2 years of getting it started. Leaders of Castle Manor Academy have welcomed the latest Ofsted report as confirmation of the progress their all-through education strategy is making. And if you want to find out more about the Vision 2031 document, Planning Haverhill's Future, there's going to be a drop-in session on Saturday. After 2 years as chairman of ONE Haverhill, Cllr Anne Gower is to stand down in September after leading the partnership from its formation to the successful launch of the town's community budget. Councillor Gower, who represents Suffolk County Council on ONE Haverhill, was appointed to chair the partnership during a 2-year transition period where it could develop and find its feet, and that period ends in September. ONE Haverhill is now seeking nominations from its board for a new chairman to take over the role. Councillor Gower said it was now time to hand over the role of chairman as ONE Haverhill entered a new phase of its development, and the appointment of a new chairman will be announced later this month. Sarah Howard, the vice-chairman of ONE Haverhill, said without Councillor Gower's drive, hard work and enthusiasm, there would not be a ONE Haverhill. It had been her ambition to have one partnership where all the organisations in the town could come together and have a single conversation and provide one voice for Haverhill. Police in Haverhill are warning people after a series of thefts of mobile phones in the street. There have been 3 incidents in the past week where a member of the public has been stopped and asked if they could lend their phone for an emergency call. The offender then claimed they could not get a good signal, walked a bit further away and then made off with the phone. Sergeant Stuart Mannells said the incidents were unconnected, involving different offenders and in different places, so it was clearly a new trick which people had picked up. He urged people, if approached about an emergency call, to offer to make it themselves or hold the phone to the person's ear, but not let go of it. Students and staff from Castle Manor Academy have welcomed the publication of their latest Ofsted report, which rated the academy as good. Partnership Principal Madeline Vigar said they welcomed the report, which reflected the hard work, effort and pride that staff and students put into life at Castle Manor Academy, and its findings had come as no surprise under the new Ofsted framework, which was simply about student attainment, she said. Public examination results were higher this year than they were when Castle Manor was judged outstanding in 2010. She added it was disappointing that they were no longer judged as outstanding, but they shouldn't underestimate this achievement. It had been a time of tremendous change for Castle Manor, which had seen it double in size, taking on younger year groups, supporting local students through the Suffolk Schools Organisation Review, and continuing to provide an environment of which students and staff felt proud. Given all these changes and the narrower focus of Ofsted's new approach, they believed the report was a clear confirmation of the progress they had made. Castle Manor became an academy in June 2012 alongside Place Farm Primary Academy in a move that cemented the partnership's vision for all-through education. John Bailey, chairman of the board of directors at the Castle Partnership and a previous parent governor, champions the partnership approach. He said it had been a turbulent time for the young people of Haverhill and the surrounding area. The governing body had taken a view early on that they should do what was in the best interest of the town and its young people, and so they worked hard to support local schools who were struggling and those faced with closure during the school's organisational review. He said the strategy of working in partnership was a major recommendation of a recent report commissioned by Suffolk County Council, and confirmed the effectiveness of the approach that the Castle Partnership had taken. And now for some more of your comments in our regular feature, Sound Off. This week's subjects have included the Haverhill Show on Sunday, the High Street cottages which may be demolished, and the filming of town meetings. Inspector Ferry tells us, I've spoken to Tim Marks and he is very supportive of filming the next SNT meeting. Tim said we've got nothing to hide and he hoped that filming the SNT meetings will encourage more people to attend future meetings. For him, it's all about getting more people interested in the work of their police and getting more people along to vote on the priorities. This is largely welcomed, but Buzzy says Come on, the SNT chair or Inspector Ferry do not give the public a chance. You can watch, but you can't participate. They treat the public like school children. Stop being Mr. Nice Guy, TB, and see it for what it's worth. Cameras will just give them another stage. Just look back on their priorities. But TB thinks that's just wrong, and he says, I have seen them involve the public fully at meetings, and the SNT priorities are set by the public, not by Inspector Ferry. Aaron says, Haverhill show was disappointing, not a lot to see and hardly anyone was there, so no atmosphere. Looks like the new show has stolen all the events from the main arena. It will be interesting to see if the new show does better, but a shame to see such an established show do so badly. JXB says, what would put paid to both is the weather, lack of advertising and content. Most people he spoke to there didn't realise either show was on, and most had no intention of going to either. TB says, the old Haverhill show used to be a massive event in the town. I can remember floats coming down the high street with all types of different community organisations on them. The show was at Hanchet End in those days. It was quite a spectacle and used to be looked forward to. I seem to remember the beer tent always used to be full. Seems a shame that with double the population we seem to have lost some of that community spirit maybe. On the subject of the cottages, DeAndre says, what exactly do the cottages add to the street scene in Haverhill town? They're not quaint little cottages, they're fairly standard boxes with ugly windows, they're falling down and riddled with damp. If they stay, no developer will ever want them to do them up, they're only fit for being pulled down. Common sense should prevail on this one, pull the ugly things down and replace them with something useful. Haverhill got their last development right, great offices and flats. The new development looks great too. Haverhill needs to move forward and not hang on to ugly buildings of the past. Now, how can we get Queen Square knocked down and redeveloped? But Hal Revy replies, that's what they said in the 60s and they knocked the whole high street down, and you want them to carry on? You can change the windows and put them right, no problems. The cottages are falling down because of Haverhill digging an underground car park next door and building the offices. Haverhill should fix the damage, it's a bleeding disgrace. TB says, I know they're only cottages, but every tree is an oasis in the desert. So keep those comments coming by going to www.haverhill-uk.co.uk and clicking into the local issues message board. And finally, there's been a lot of talk about Vision 2031 and the future of Haverhill recently. If you want to know more about it and find out how you can make comments on it, there is a drop-in session planned on Saturday week, the 20th, at the library. Vision 2031 is St Edmundsbury Borough Council's proposals for how Haverhill should develop over the next 20 years in all areas of the community. This is the final draft, which will go to a government planning inspector for scrutiny. With it will go the comments of residents during a current 3-month consultation period. You can see the document online, but it is big and complicated, so there's a chance to find out more between 10 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, July the 20th at the library. And this is one of 4 such events across the borough. Now, over to Abby for the rest of the week's weather.
Thank you, David. Hello, and here's the local weather forecast for the next few days. Wednesday, mainly cloudy, but with any luck we could see some sunshine. Daytime temperatures around 22 degrees, dropping to 9 degrees at night. Thursday will be warm and sunny, temperatures during the day reaching 21 degrees, dropping to 10 degrees at night. Friday, the same as Thursday, with a daytime temperature of 21 degrees, dropping to 11 degrees at night. Back to you, David.
Thanks for that, Abby. That's all for today, but join us again on Friday, and meantime keep in touch by going to www.haverhill-uk.co.uk or following us on Twitter.